All right, video 4. Pardon me, get a drink. I want to edit a part of an assembly. And what it is, what we're wanting to do, come here you, is we're wanting to take this 2D sketch of the clamp, we're going to want to extrude it and turn it to 3D, all right? And we want to do this while it's all here so we don't have to open it up and extrude it and all that. So we're going to do it while it's within this assembly here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find the cylinder sketch, there it is, and I'm going to right click, edit. Now this edit, you notice how it's opened it up, and the rest of it kind of looks like a glass is see-through. We can see through, right? And now we're going to make that and extrude it. And I'm going to click on my extrude function just like I would normally. And I'm going to extrude it 32, and I'm going to tell it to go both ways. Remember, all you have to do is click on that little black drop-down arrow to get it. Okay, very good. Next, I need to create a sketch, and I'm going to create a sketch on this little flat nose part of it so that we can draw a rectangle, because we have to cut out like the slot or the groove for that piston shaft. So I'm going to create a sketch here. Oh, that's not quite the way I want it to look. Okay, that works a little better for me, and I can tell by looking at this that, oops, I'm going to have a little problem here in a minute. Because now that I can see, when I was looking at the other view, it looked like it was perfectly lined up, but I can see here that it's not. And that falls under the oopsies, that's not quite what I was looking for, but that's okay. We can go ahead and cut the extrude, and then we can go back and constrain it so that it is. So if you're working and you're going through it and you find things, don't panic. They can be fixed. You know where your constrain tools, we can get them in there. So I'm going to draw me a rectangle box, and I know that it should be 3 down from here. Alright, so it's 3 down from here, and total distance should be 16. And from the center point here, because I'm looking at that and it doesn't look like that is, because that's my center point, my center line right here, right? So half of 16 is 8. So that makes it nice and perfectly centered. So it's 8, 8, oops, and then it needs to come over. That's not going to work. Is it? So I'll select everything. Because I want it nice and perfectly centered on here. So I have this total 16, half to it is 8, comes down 3. Okay, good. I'm going to finish my sketch. And I'm going to do extrude. We're going to do an extrude cut. Distance, okay. You want to spin around so you can look and see what it looks like, which, yes, that looks kind of like what it needs to. Oops, nope, it needs to go all the way through, right? So just double click on that extrusion like you would in normal, and instead of distance, tell it all. And now, see, it's all the way through. Very good, right? Okay, and I'm going to hit the little return button. Now I can see that I don't quite have everything really lined up, right? Don't panic, it's easy to fix. Go back to your constraint. Grab that plane to that plane. I'll show you again. Constrain that one to that one. Apply, okay. And now you'll notice, see how it's nice and perfectly lined up. Sometimes you don't see it, but don't panic. It's simply just a matter of you're using those constraint tools and your symbol tools. And see how it's nice and together just like it should be. So zoom out. And now let's play with that little clamp. So as we move it, yay, see how everything works together. It looks like it should, but it's still going a little farther out than we really want it to go, right? So let's do a little analyze inference, okay? So next step. Okay, so we're going to look and see if we can find if there's, any problems going on. So you click on inspect, analyze inference. And so what I'm going to tell it to do is I want it to do the piston rod to here. So you have to read the instructions. Sometimes you have to go find them because sometimes it's not necessarily straight out there. So to get your piston rod, we have to bring this down and we have to click, here's your piston rod, correct? And then I want to do my second one, will be the clamp sketch because that was that one. And I'm going to click on OK. And if we're lucky and we've done it correctly, there are no inferences selected. And if that's the case, then great. Yay, we've got it done correctly. If there was an inference, then we could follow the instructions and we could go and save it out there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this drawing, and then we're going to go into the next